Welcome back to the Dallas Meetup Dime, where we get straight to the value in 10 minutes or less. I'm your host, Carson Gibbons, and today I'm joined by Vahid Behzadi, founder and CEO of Pocket.cm, an executive board member at North Texas Disabilities Chamber. We got to know each other through Dallas Meetup's health tech cohort. You were a part of Zapier back in the day, a fellow Y Combinator darling company that was always held up as the model of cash efficiency. We bonded throughout that process, attended Texas Venture Gala together down in Austin, and I've recently even joined the board of advisors for Pocket.cm. So, Vahid Behzadi, thank you so much for joining us today. How are you?
Good, Carson. Thanks for having me.
You're a man about town.
Trying to be like you when I grow up.
Oh, please.
Appreciate it.
Tell us more about Pocket.
I'll start with sort of a history. My family has been serving adults with disabilities for about 30 years in LA and Orange County, and that includes people with autism or Down syndrome or other areas of need and care. So it's service has been always a part of what we do. But Pocket started as part of a discussion I was having with my family about challenges that they faced with running their company efficiently, being able to scale out their business, handling challenges that they face with both on the staff side and in terms of compliance and other issues. So, we started with Pocket back a couple of years ago, and now we have a full all-encompassing case management software with AI that serves the needs of companies that are providing this service in the adult and disability care space.
We both kind of come at this from a familial perspective. Growing up, my dad was on the board of My Possibilities out of Plano, Texas, which at the time was kind of an upstart, if you will, but it seems to have become kind of the Cadillac of, Con Ed programs for adults with neurodivergent capabilities. And so your mission was near and dear to my heart as somebody that caters to that type of not-for-profit service and frontline caregiver with your AI-powered Pocket Case Manager.
Thank you. Yeah, My Possibilities is an incredible organization, and it's one of so many that are often serving their community, and many are just not even seen. It's almost like when we were all in high school together, we had other students that were with us that maybe were in special education or integrated in our classrooms, and then when we graduate, you kind of wonder what might have happened, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they didn't disappear. They're just existing, and they're being served by companies like My Possibilities, our families, and boy, it was a really nice surprise, incidentally, to find out that your dad had been a part of the board, and that we had just another layer of overlap and connection in that way.
I don't personally know about swaths of the market until I see them, so I don't even know that there's like a bustling economy there and people helping others with tools, services, what have you. So it's just illuminating for me, and it helped me better connect the dots when we connected. I believe in the health tech cohort season, you were amongst the health tech founders that we featured at Dallas Meetup at Backyard. And at that time, I think you were getting into Mass Challenge, Capital, several different affiliations at the time. Can you expound on that?
Yeah, for sure. It was a great event. I want to highlight that for anybody that's interested, for sure. A place to be connected throughout the fabric of the community. And it was nice to have something that was dedicated in and around health and adjacent spaces like ours, because it provided a medium for relevance and interconnection among people that really understood and spoke our language. So that was the takeaway I got from the event. But at that point, yeah, you're right. Exactly. We were just getting into Mass Challenge, which is a spectacular accelerator program. It's probably one of the top 5 accelerator programs in the country. They're a nonprofit based out of Boston with offices here in Dallas. So we've had a really good fortune of being able to participate and become a part of that fold. Capital Factory, also, as you said, we keep running into each other. That was another place where we happen to run into each other at these events. And I've been fortunate to be a part of that organization at a different time in my career with another startup. And it's, it's the gravity in Texas when it comes to startups. They're like our own Texas-based Y Combinator, and that's been an incredible partnership as well. And so, and before that, we had participated at Pair VC, the Persian Fellow Circle, which is a fellowship that it's really concentrated around founders of Persian descent, which was really unique and incredible. So we've been very lucky to be able to be asked to be a part of these really high value organizations and support of what we're doing with Pocket.
I'm curious, kind of going back, I alluded to this in the intro. I probably didn't do it justice, but one of the big things that stood out to me on your CV, kind of meeting you through that cohort season, was the Zapier inclusion. You basically built Zapier's infrastructure and team from 2016-ish to 17, somewhere around like their ascent.
Yeah.
I went through the program in winter of 19. They were just always held up, the golden calf on a hill of the model of cash efficient. What did they raise? $1 million, and they got to
about $1.5 million.
And what was the ARR that they're currently at?
I don't know where they are currently, but I do know that it was, I think, in a Forbes article not terribly long ago, at least at $5 billion in valuation. I'm sure, and that was a couple of years ago. So I'm certain with the introduction of AI into their business as well now, as a furthering of what they've been able to offer to people, that it's probably more than that at this point. But yes, it's absolutely great. It was a wonderful company to be a part of, and I got fortunate to be there before COVID. And Zapier, if many people may know this, is an entirely remote company, and they do it exceptionally well, as
they're the standard.
You might be able to tell. So we had a really wonderful team. We got to tap into talent from every walk of life in every part of the world that you can imagine, and then also learn how to do remote work effectively and efficiently across the entire globe. And so that was a really great learning experience, a really wonderful team to be a part of, obviously, for a lot of reasons. And I learned a lot, right? I learned a lot about how companies can be efficient, both in terms of how they manage capital, but also in how they identify and work with great talent in places that most people don't necessarily have a comfort level doing. And the way that they have done that successfully is by being really clear in their communication, really strong in documentation, making sure that they're recruiting and hiring great people across the board, and then providing infrastructure and support across both the tech stack and the human capital stack to enable people to be successful. So that is a learning that we've taken away in terms of what we're doing now. Our team at Pocket, we're entirely remote. A lot of that has to do with lessons learned from that time.
I found it fascinating that you as a founder were kind of approaching things from the chief people officer SME perspective, which makes all the sense in the world. Like, you would think more CEOs would be former talent acquisition officers and chief people officers that can build teams, because that's ultimately what scaling a company is hiring the right people to do the right jobs.
I totally agree with you. And I think both of our experiences lend to that understanding. Recruiting, especially in the world that I came from before even going into corporate, was agency side, 100% commission, kill what, eat what you can kill, with a recoverable draw. So you were constantly pressure cooked in terms of how you had to go about doing it. And because we had this platform and latitude to work with a whole bunch of variety of organizations, you get this point of interaction where you see leadership styles and you learn talent styles. And most especially, just because you get to talk to really, really wonderful people, you just get to learn a lot. So if you're active in terms of your understanding from a talent standpoint, you can have people teach you a lot. And if you have the capacity and curiosity around that, it can lead to a lot. And I think that for sure, that has coupled with a couple of other experiences that I've had to really be a part of our superpower when it comes to building an organization. I think you'll find that most startups, when you hear about VC funding, one of the things that a CEO's, one of their core tenets is you have to be the best recruiter in the house. Mm-hmm. So by coming from that standpoint, it was really, I think it's been a really great experience, both to become a founder and to help lead my company now.
You recently exposed me to a group that I hadn't had exposure to in North Texas Disabilities Chamber. I believe you brought me to an executive luncheon or something like that.
Yep.
Got to see Dylan speak. I think Cent Marshall was up there, and I was struck by it. It was the who's who in the room on a Wednesday at lunch. Sold out crowd, very much following what they're doing now. You've recently joined, is it their board of directors?
Yeah, that's right.
What is the local mission? What are you working to equip there?
My work is in support of the mission at large, but the goal of the organization, led by Dylan Rafferty, who we were just talking about, is to be a voice for equity and inclusion across the entire Dallas-Fort Worth area and reaching out further into 22 counties. We concentrate on being able to be a voice for the entirety of the ecosystem. So you may have governmental organizations, like you saw the mayor of Arlington was there. You may have organizations like My Possibilities and EY who happen to be at our table during the event alongside you and the North Texas Angels folks as well. And the individuals themselves that are receiving these layers and levels of services in their families, because for them it's a lifetime commitment, right? So the fact that it was eye-opening for you is really cool, which means that as a part of this organization that we get to be involved with, we're helping to amplify that message. And there are so many people that are very actively in support of this organization. Again, it's just this dimension, and it exists in parallel with where we all are. You may not go to Legacy West and see a person who has cerebral palsy or even recognize some disabilities that are not visible, but know that 1 in 6 people in the world are impacted on the disability side, and all of us, God willing, will become old and require some support in some capacity. But there's this entire group of people across multiple places that really care about the impact in humanity, and we want to continue to do that, which is part of the charge we're doing now with Pocket too.
It feels like all of these tool services, platforms, not-for-profits are simply trying to bring this into the mainstream. This population exists, they need service and all these things like anybody else does. They're also active contributors, workers, employees, colleagues, brothers, sisters. It's just bringing it out of the darkness, almost like illuminating more light, making it more mainstream, and I commend you all for that.
Thank you. Yeah, it's a really spectacular thing to do. I was having a conversation with my wife this morning, and everybody goes through what you go through, right? Some days are harder than other days. One of the things that and this is selfish, one of the things that I love about this work is that it keeps me grounded in understanding about how blessed I truly am, right? And I think that's part of it. With whatever mission someone chooses in their life for work or otherwise, when you have this grounding, it really makes perspective a lot broader. And when you have a broader perspective, all of a sudden you start to understand, one, what's my place in this? And then two, is like, how can I do and be a part of this, whether it's in support of this or just existing myself? And that provides, I think, a lot of sturdiness when there's not a lot of that in people's lives.
When I volunteered for Texas Scottish Rite for children, we would work with a lot of kids that had scoliosis and whatnot. And it didn't matter how bad your day at work was, you walked out of there with a straight back and the ability to walk around on your 2 feet. And I think to your point, it was not only don't take that for granted, but how do you turn that energy and power around to help others?
Yeah,
it's very powerful.
I agree with you entirely on that. And I would say this, that even as you expand further into this understanding, what becomes clear is a person with a disability is still, one, at core, a person. And two, a lot of times our own intrinsic biases get in the way of our capacity to understand that maybe there's more to the dimensionality of this person and the life that they can live than one might generally expect, right? So elevating consciousness to a point where you're supporting people in a way that's respectful of who they are as a person and the capacity that can happen. Just like you and me, like people gave us a shot to do some stuff. Folks are out there supporting you on your mission, and you rise. And the same applies for any other person in any condition they may or may not be in. And I'll give you an example. There's this really terrific video that went around last year about a girl with Down syndrome. She is very limited in scope in terms of life because of the people that are around her thinking that she has to be infantilized or child, but she's an adult, right? So, but she wants to live on her own. She wants to take kickboxing. She wants to take, dance classes. She wants to get married, and she wants to have a margarita. So if you can elevate consciousness, which I think a lot of exposure allows for someone to be able to do, you can understand that, if she wants to have a margarita, give her a margarita.
Have a margarita, folks. Vahid Behzadi. Thank you for your time.
Always good, Carson. Thank you.